Hello and welcome to BB True Crime. I'm Beth.
And I am Becky.
And we are back for episode 33.
33?
Yeah, we're making it.
There's a bus 33 near me.
That's so random.
Look, we're on episode 33, bro. They're used to this by now.
I don't know where to go from there. Yes. We're not doing an episode about buses, but
that
there we
go. That would have been a good segue, though.
Into what?
Somebody was hit by a bus. Lunatic bus driver murderer. I'm sure there has to be one of those somewhere.
There is driving and murder involved, but no buses, I think. Pretty sure.
Just saying, there's taxi drivers who have been serial killers. Why can't there be bus drivers who are serial killers? People are just as shitty to bus drivers as they are to taxi drivers. I'm sure somebody snapped.
More.
I'm sure somebody snapped. That's irrelevant. What are we doing?
Yes. So, episode 33. So I don't know if you remember last time in our last episode we mentioned that today's episode was going to be about a man called Elliot Rodger. Who is known as... he has several nicknames, such as the King of the Incels, the Supreme Gentleman. I have also covered exactly what an incel is. He's
the anti-feminist bastard.
Pretty much, yes.
This is going to make me rage.
So, yes, it will. It is one of those episodes. So, that is today's case. Yeah, so let's just go into it. So we're going to do our little new thing we've got going on. We've got a little intro, go into the background of the perpetrator, and then go into the crime.
Got it.
Alright, so...
Hit me.
Elliot Oliver Robertson Rodger.
That's the worst name in history.
First of all, don't know why people need more than one middle name, but fair enough.
Is he American?
He's American.
Double barrel surname, that's why.
It's not a surname, they're two middle names.
No, but people who don't double barrel their surnames often put the second surname as a middle name. Because I have family who live in New York, and their Johnson is their middle name. When with the rest of the family in Britain, it's a surname. Sometimes they put their middle name instead of a surname.
It's very weird.
I didn't say it made sense, I just said they did it. American viewers, can you please clarify that? Because confusion.
Okay, we do have quite a few of those.
Do we?
American viewers,
Very cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
In fact, some of the first people to actually listen to our episodes when they first come out are American.
Nice one, guys. Yeah. That's because you post them at ridiculous hours when you can't sleep.
Maybe also the accents.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Do we have accents?
I don't know. Maybe. Probably.
We've been diverged already.
We really have. Yeah, anyway.
God
Jesus
almighty.
Christ. To some will always be known as going from a nihilistic killer to a renamed incel hero, but for all the wrong reasons.
Oh, great.
So how did it go wrong? Why did it go bad? Why do some throw away their lives so young to commit such violent acts? And what outcomes have actually been inspired by Elliot's crimes?
Oh.
Because unfortunately, there's been quite a few.
Copycat people.
Or just people being like, what he did was cool, let's also do it. But before we do that, before we go into his background, I want to go into what an incel is.
Okay.
Because to some people that are not chronically online...
I was going to say, before you briefly mentioned in the last episode, I think, what one was, or after we recorded it, no idea what that word meant.
Yeah.
Not a clue.
But it's very simple. Right, so basically, I did a bit of a dictionary meaning, and then also I did a bit of a...
street meaning.
Yes. So, an incel stands for involuntary celibate.
Got it.
So they are a member of an online community of young men, so they're always men.
Okay.
You can get sort of incel-y women, but women are not really welcome in the incel community.
Probably because of the anti-feminists.
Yes, or just very anti-women. So they're a member of an online community of young men who consider themselves unable to attract women sexually.
Well, there's probably a very good reason for that.
Yeah. They typically associate with views that are very hostile towards women.
Marvellous.
And men who are also sexually active, because it's like jealousy, envy. They're like, oh, you know, the men who are sexually active, oh, they're all, you know, they're getting all the women when I should be getting all the women. That's
Any
the kind
man
of
who
thinking.
says I should be getting all the women shall be getting no women.
Exactly. Yeah, but that's the thing. That's why they're angry.
Got it.
That's why they call themselves incels.
So they blame women for their own personal flaws.
Yeah, but they also blame the men who are actually getting some.
I shouldn't find this funny.
Yeah, so they blame women and society for not getting laid, basically. They believe, so they call women Stacys.
Okay, I've heard that term before, yeah.
And
like a John.
Yeah, and they call men Chads.
Stacey's and Chad's, got it.
Yes. The Chads are the hot, mean guys that are taking all the women from them. Clearly.
Don't ever say that any of these men in this little group have been like, I'm a nice guy, really.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Yeah, that's the shit.
Said no nice
is
guy ever.
That is their shit.
Oh, fuck
right?
me.
Yeah, and literally the next sentence was, despite them claiming to be nice guys. Yeah, so
I know you so well.
Literally, that's what one is.
Do you know what? I can already tell as an asexual person, I'm really not going to understand these people.
Yeah. So it's typical guy in his basement, jealous that men are actually trying, succeeding.
Lives with his mum.
You know,
Spends most
probably
of his
has
time
a
on his
neck beard.
Oh, God.
Yeah, probably.
But just a neck.
Yeah, probably runs. Side-eye. Probably runs some kind of like Reddit or Discord moderator.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, that's the vibe. Maybe a fedora.
Never. Don't bring fedoras into this.
Sorry,
all
they
right?
have a bad rep.
Don't bring fedoras into this.
But it's true.
Leave my hats out of this, right?
Fine.
Thank you.
Right, let's go into Elliot's background, because you're going to be like, well, where did it all go wrong? You must have, gotten these beliefs somewhere.
He was born.
But honestly, the guy was just,
something was funky from the get-go.
Yeah, I can't even place where it all went wrong.
Alright, tell me.
Right, so, he was actually born in London.
That's where he went wrong.
Yeah, that's clearly,
London.
That's the beginning.
For all the American viewers, contrary to popular opinion, the least favourite city in the UK has been named London.
Understandable.
Honestly, it's the worst city in the UK.
On July the 24th, 1991.
1991, so he's 5 years older than me.
Yeah, was.
Now he's Morito.
Yes. To parents Peter, Roger, and Ong... I'm so sorry if I mispronounce these names. Ong Lee Chin. His dad he actually came from a very privileged background.
Oh!
Which you don't hear about a lot in these cases.
I did not anticipate that.
Yeah, his dad worked actually as one of the directors, for example, on the set of The Hunger Games.
Damn!
Yeah, money. And his mum actually worked on movie sets as well, but she worked as a set nurse for films such as The Princess Bride and Indiana Jones.
Oh!
Yeah, so
they've worked on some big
privilege.
pieces.
Yeah.
That's a good
money.
upbringing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a very artsy upbringing. It's not a classically entitled upbringing.
But, if he wanted to go into those things, he had ways and, money to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So, following his birth, his family then moved to Sussex, where he enjoyed a very affluent and privileged upbringing.
Love it.
Nothing really traumatic.
Okay.
He attended Dorset House, which is a private all-boys school in West Sussex.
It is. It's very nice.
And then when he was 5, his family moved to upscale Woodland Hills neighborhood of Los Angeles.
So he went from a Sussex private boarding school to a private school in LA.
Yes.
That's a fucking culture shock, isn't it?
Well, yes, but he was only 5 at the time, so he may not have noticed it massively.
That's true, he's quite young.
Yeah. So, I guess, debatable on where you'd put it on the trauma scale. His parents then divorced when he was 7.
Traumatic, to be fair.
Custody was split between the parents, so Elliot Roger and his younger sister would live with their mum during weekdays and then their father during weekends.
Okay.
His dad then remarried a year later to an actress.
Oh, that's probably a bit of a...
But she's apparently very lovely.
Okay.
So it was around this time of him being around 8 or 9, that he began showing signs of difficulty socialising with others.
That's my bad. Guess who forgot to mute their phone?
How?
Sauce homies. That was me. There we go. That won't be happening again.
Yes.
So antisocial behaviour.
Yes, from around 8 or 9.
Okay. But that's quite common with kids who've been divorced. Like, it's a big, like, life change, and it often makes people a little bit... It makes you feel like it's harder to empathise with people, especially when you're that young.
Like, there's a remarriage and then a divorce as well. Yeah. So, at elementary school, he was known to be very quiet and withdrawn. He'd whisper answers instead of, like, actually speaking properly when he was, like, asked things.
Okay.
Prefer to write down information rather than talk to anyone. And avoided friendly interaction during, like, breaks and stuff or lunches.
Okay.
Social gatherings like birthday parties also made him very nervous.
You're literally describing my childhood right now.
Yeah. Exactly. The thing is that most people can relate to this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, at what point has it gone too far?
Yeah, because that's
into
all, like...
problematic.
Yeah, because that's all
territory.
Stuff that I'm pretty sure you were pretty...
Oh, yeah.
You did a lot of that stuff. I know I did a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like...
So there was one occasion that they were at Disneyland. He became overwhelmed to tears by the crowds that were there. He viewed his sister as a rival, which, you know, anyone with siblings knows that it's completely normal. And would...
Only child wouldn't know.
Yeah. Would throw tantrums over issues in which the parents took her side instead of his.
Okay.
Again, very normal for siblings. So it was argued by his parents whether or not he might have had autism or depression or anxiety.
Okay.
He did not get on with his stepmom, but there is no signs of her being
unfair or, like, mean to him.
Yeah, nothing, like, traumatizing there. It's just typical child. They didn't get on with the new mom.
Okay.
Are you good?
Yeah, my back hurts. Okay. I'm better now, sorry.
It's like...
my shoulder just popped. It hurt, bro.
So Elliot became also self-conscious about his a bit shorter than most guys his age. And he was quite thin as well. Which I also don't think is anything like that crazy, but I guess to pubescent boy.
I suppose at this point it's more like on its own. Nothing is
just like normal puberty, if I'm being honest.
But on its own, nothing sounds abnormal. I guess the only thing I would say is that this guy's got a lot going on. Like, it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Like, he's got the physical issues, he's got the behavioural issues, he's got the social issues. Like, where doesn't he have an issue? Like, from my perspective...
He's not gone through anything mega traumatizing. Yeah, there's divorce and remarriage. And yeah, he's going through... what sounds like maybe something to a degree on the spectrum.
Yeah.
But
you can definitely see a segregation forming.
Yeah, but there's no abuse.
No.
Is what I'm
for sure.
getting, which is what would be on a lot of these kind of things.
But you know, for some people it's not necessarily about abuse, it's just like, nobody understands me, nobody loves me.
Which I feel like is the direction this is kind of going.
Yeah.
Except it becomes a lot more entitled because he has money.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, I could buy friends kind of situation.
But on the receiving end of that.
So, he did briefly play basketball in the belief that it would help him grow taller. Let's not make sense of that, but alright.
That's an interesting statement.
So obviously, if you couldn't tell from the parents' names, he was mixed race.
Yeah.
But he was very embarrassed about it. And he felt that it set him apart from his white peers.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
I feel like that is a red flag. Especially because we know it's his mother that's bringing the racial disparity in.
Yeah.
I feel like, well, not the source of all of his problems.
The issue is with his stepmother, not his mother.
But the fact that his mother, he is ashamed of his mother's heritage specifically.
Yeah.
It's a bit...
True. But nothing happened to his mother. I want to clarify.
True. But I do feel like it's a little bit of a red flag in terms of behaviour.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. So at age 9, in an effort to blend in, he dyed his hair blonde, tried to pick up skateboarding, hoping that these changes would help him befriend other children. Did not. Want to clarify.
Yeah, because, nobody cares about your race.
You'd hope so, but this is America. Maybe a little bit.
Okay, that's fine. I'll give you that one.
Despite his extreme social awkwardness, around 9, he did actually start to socialise a little bit more.
Nice.
And did a try and to, approach girls. But later, I'm guessing around the time puberty and stuff, he began experiencing feelings of resentment. Convinced that his life was unfair compared to his peers. Then he the increased difficulty in making friends, particularly with women, just made him feel more isolated and frustrated.
Alright, okay.
So it just starts going from puberty age now, it's just getting worse and worse in his mind. He's clearly not getting help for this. Or he just doesn't want help for this.
Because respectfully, at this point, this is something a therapist could probably fix.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah.
Sorry about the rustling, we've employed the beanbag chairs today.
Yeah, yes. Also apologies if you can hear the fan slightly in the background.
It is hot and we're just trying to get comfy.
True. So he started to hate seeing other couples together.
I can relate to that.
Babe.
What? Is this a safe space?
Yes, it is true. So around this time, his stepmom gave birth.
Oh, no, another sibling. Oh,
and he got bullied in school, for being the sort of quiet, weird kid. He went to then an all-boys Catholic school, still got bullied for the same reasons. They actually would call him gay. So, because he didn't mix with girls. So he went to several other different schools, bullied at them all, basically the same reasons. Same sort of social issues, all of them. So in 2007, he got diagnosed with a type of autism.
Okay.
With challenges in social development, which makes sense. Not really a surprise.
That fits.
Yeah. He was given different antidepressants, but he didn't take them.
Fair enough. All right.
Yep. And eventually, he got kicked out of his dad's house, and became obsessed with the idea that becoming rich or showing that he had wealth would attract women.
Oh, no.
Not great.
Oh, no. That's never going to work.
At 18, he blamed his parents for the fact that he wasn't rich. Logic.
Okay.
He dropped out of college because he was sick of seeing happy couples everywhere. And refused to get a job, believing that jobs were beneath him. And instead would spend all of his time sitting in public places trying to look rich and hoping that women would just come up to him begging to date him.
This guy's a psychopath.
Yeah. So he got sent to a college in Santa Barbara, and his parents agreed that for him to go there, they would pay not only for the college, but an apartment as well. So he moved into Capri Apartments in Isla Vista.
Isla Vista.
But had difficulty several times bonding with any roommates.
Jesus Christ.
Preferred to be alone, that kind of standard thing. A lot of also his roommates would end up being sort of not white. So, despite being mixed race himself, he would also throw around a lot of racial slurs.
This guy's got a lot of internalized racism.
Yeah, he also would just say that he's better looking than everyone.
I can't wait until you inevitably show me a picture of this guy at the end of this
really
episode.
Nothing special. He believed that women were wrong for rejecting him, and he blamed men who were more successful than him for their rejection.
But let me just ask something quickly, right? Nobody's actually rejected him yet.
No, he's just not going up to them. That's my thing, right?
Because he keeps saying rejecting.
Yeah. But he's not trying. That's the thing. That's my issue with incels. Is like, the fact is, they're like, oh, I hate this woman. I hate all women because, none of them fancy me. None of them are coming up to me and asking to date me. Yeah, but you're not trying, babe. You're not.
Sorry.
You're not trying. You're not going up to them. You know what? Some of them may.
Yeah.
And you know what? At least they're trying.
Honestly.
But you can't sit there and just be like, oh, I hate women for not coming up to you. And it's like, why would they?
That's not immediately in love with me.
It's just not realistic at all. It's just not how the world works.
No, bro.
You have to put some fucking effort in to at least say hello.
Look at them and smile at them.
Yeah,
what do you have to do?
Jesus Christ, the bar's so low, and these guys are literally... And the thing is, it's a big community online.
I'll bet.
Really is.
Honestly though, if that's the way they're behaving, they can keep their genes to themselves.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's not going to change unless you actually get out there and speak to a fucking woman.
Nope. Absolutely.
So, obviously, we see it's escalating. So, July 2011. He's at Starbucks.
Oh, jeez.
Nothing
good ever started at Starbucks.
Elliot noticed a couple engaging in a kiss. War crime.
Jeez.
So he followed them outside and threw his coffee at them.
What the fuck?
As you do. In the same month, he saw another couple kissing at a food court. Again, war crime.
Yeah, how dare they?
So he tracked them down in his car.
Fucking hell.
And splashed them with his iced tea. It's so unprovoked. He was obsessed with expensive clothes because he wanted to try and elevate his status. In 2012, in February, he officially dropped out of all of his classes in college.
Okay.
But had stayed in the flat. Yeah. And it was around February 2012 when he dropped out of all of his classes that he began obsessing about what he called a day of retribution. Which just sounds very ominous.
Oh my god.
And
This
it basically
cracked.
was a planned attack that he wanted to do on women and couples. He was also obsessed with doing the lottery. Obviously never won.
Okay.
Literally spent hundreds and hundreds in his allowance that he'd get from his parents.
Jesus Christ.
On the lottery. And then would get really mad when he would obviously never win. Because you actually have more chance of getting bit by a shark. Did you know that than winning the lottery? Yeah.
I think you've told me that before.
Yeah.
And sharks are very non-aggressive to humans.
Yeah. So if he wasn't spending his money on lottery tickets,
he would have been fine financially, wouldn't he?
Oh no, he was instead spending money and saving money to buy guns.
Why?
For his day of retribution, Becky. His attack on women and couples. Babe, pay attention.
Look, bro. I do not... you know me, right?
The incel's strong.
You know me. I'm not against guns.
That's true.
You are violently
I
against
am,
guns,
yes.
right? I'm not against guns.
Sorry, I'm sitting off
It's
the
okay.
beanbag.
It's okay. Come join me down on the
Fuck
floor.
me, I can't get up.
I can't get
I
up.
can't get up.
Hold the fuck up, guys.
Oh god.
That was fucking dramatic. Move the beanbag over, bro. You're gonna squish your fruit.
Oh, I'm alright. That was
a fucking experience.
That was scary. Alright.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Please don't squish my pineapple. Oh, there you go.
Okay, as you were saying.
I was.
About his planned attack.
There we go.
And the guns.
Right. Okay. I do not understand. We've had a conversation before about gun legislation and gun policies, right?
Yes. Yeah,
also, Viva President Harris. Absolutely.
You got that, Kamala.
Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Yes. She's outpolling Trump by like
I've
a
heard
mile,
that, yeah.
country
Everyone's
mile.
like backing her.
She got more funding in 1 week than Barack Obama did in his entire campaign.
I know he's taken
We fucking love this woman.
her side.
We fucking love this woman. Anyway, that was a sidetrack. I do not understand their liberal view for just letting people willy-nilly buy guns.
Yeah,
and then
it's
the
pretty
audacity
of when gun crimes
of-
happen.
yeah.
I know.
And you want to know the absolute irony of the whole thing? The Americans didn't even win the Olympics of shooting. Right?
That's probably because
You're
they're
right.
all terrible.
Do you know how many guns you have in your country and you can't even get gold at the Olympics?
Also, rip the American listeners, so sorry, but...
These are genuine questions I have, like...
Sort your gun laws out,
honestly.
Christ.
In fact, Kamala Harris has some good policies on gun laws, but...
Oh, God, yeah,
Bro-
but they all say it and nothing really changes, does it? Like... And we're still having to do these cases.
Bro, if she gets elected, she will be the first black woman... Sorry, mixed race woman to have office. That is a ginormous milestone.
It is. But until something actually gets done about gun crime and guns generally in America, I'm sorry, but we're gonna keep having these episodes because saying the same things.
She wants to initiate a buyback of anything classed as an assault rifle, and I absolutely fucking love that idea because she's like, there is no need for self-defense that can shoot 30 people in less than a minute. And I was like, fuck yes, suddenly somebody with sense.
Yeah.
Now we've gone off that little tangent.
Yeah.
We're gonna return, but I do want to have another episode where we discuss, like, gun laws.
Oh, believe me, there'll probably be a lot more. Like, we haven't even done other
Half
cases
the
like
ideas, yeah.
Columbine.
Well, we haven't.
The very famous school. I know not the...
I thought we did do that one.
No, we did Sandy Hook recently.
How was it? Because there were lots of pictures of the...
Preschool.
And the fact that the kids from the Sandy Hook are now graduating, well, the survivors.
Yeah.
I know a lot of news and media for that.
Columbine was the OG school shooting.
Oh.
Sounds really bad to say, but it's the one that most people know. And was the one that was really like, oh, maybe we should do something about guns. And then they just never did.
You know what they did do?
I mean, they might have done, but not enough. So
made 5-year-olds wear backpacks with bulletproof shooting in them.
Yeah, there's a lot of just questionable things, isn't there?
All in clear bags. So they can see that the guns that kids bring into school. Like, that's gonna fix anything.
Well, that's the thing, it's not really even like... Yeah, it was the kids that went to the school in Columbine, but the guy from Sandy Hook... Yeah, he'd been to that school when he was younger, like, you, like, weren't part of that school anymore, so...
We've been distracted, we need to get back.
So, at age 22...
Okay.
He went to a house party. First of all, I want to know who the fuck gave him the invite to that. Because clearly he had to talk to someone to, like, get in there.
Bro, who says he has an invite?
Well...
Have you ever been to a house party before?
Once.
Right.
I had an invite, though.
You have people you invite, and then the inviters invite people, and then the people that have been invited secondarily invite a load of people or casually mention this is where they are, and then suddenly you've got 60 people you don't know in your house drinking your booze.
Not if it's controlled.
House parties are never controlled.
Well, the one I went to wasn't too crazy, so... But yeah, he went to a house party, and then tried to shove several women off the roof because they wouldn't notice him. So instead, lots of guys who saw him trying to push women off the roof, pushed him off the roof. and he fractured his ankle, which meant his day of retribution had to be put on hold because of his ankle.
Valid.
Yeah.
Valid.
So, shame.
So sad.
So then it means, his plan got, prolonged until spring 2014.
Delayed. The word you're looking for there was delayed.
Yes.
Yes.
So, in this time, his parents got him counselling.
Too late.
He was described an antipsychotic, but just refused to take it, and also just stopped going to counselling as well. So to be fair, his parents were trying.
Again, I reiterate, too late.
Maybe, but he had been supposed to be taking antidepressants for like a while before this. He just wasn't helping himself, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I get that.
They're doing more than like a lot of parents in these cases would cover.
That's true.
So he also had made plans to, in his day of retribution, where obviously he wanted to attack women and couples, he also wanted to attack a couple of family members. Specifically...
His stepmother.
Well, yes, and his younger brother, that, was her son. He wanted to kill his younger half-brother because he was doing better in life than Elliot was.
Shocking.
Yep. And obviously wanted to kill his stepmom. But he wanted to do it while his dad was away because he didn't really want to kill his dad. But,
Lol.
So...
Lol, don't let the third person be in the house. I don't really want to kill him.
Yeah. So in 2013, so around September, he got some new roommates in his flat. Again, foreign. These were 20-year-old Wei Hang, otherwise known as David Wang, and 20-year-old Cheng Wan, otherwise known as James Hong. Online, he always, to his social medias, would post like pictures of him with expensive things or on holidays, trying to make it seem like he has a very lavish lifestyle.
Got it.
And, everything is money.
Okay.
He also had a YouTube channel. And you can still find his videos to this day. And
it's not great.
It's literally just him, usually sat in his car, just talking shit about how hard his life is, how women won't notice him, how he doesn't understand because he's got all this money and he's got a fancy car and he's got nice clothes, and they're just, or him chatting shit about the couples that he's seen. And that was literally his whole YouTube channel.
How much time did you spend on there?
I've seen his things for years.
Oh,
nothing new there.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
He also would complain about being a virgin as well, but shocking.
I mean, nobody's gonna touch that thing with a barge pole.
Yeah. He also openly, obviously, expressed his racial views towards interracial couples.
Did you just say racial views?
Yes, I was trying to be polite. His bigotry.
You mean the racism?
Yes, that.
The racism!
Including mocking an Asian man trying to date a white woman and stating it was rage-inducing after he also saw a black man hanging out with a white woman.
This coming from the son of an Asian woman and a white man?
Yes. Yes, he was just very internally racist, despite also being mixed race.
That's wild.
Yeah. So, towards his final months, as the day of retribution got closer, he also, in his narcissism, wrote a 137-page manifesto. Which seems to be very in with incels. But,
what are they doing? Running for president?
If you've heard of, the Unabomber, you know he also wrote a manifesto, right? Where he had his views and shit. Elliot Rodger was not at the same level as a Unabomber. But very much thought he was, the shit. And so now other incels are like, oh,
we're the shit!
We're the shit, we need a manifesto. Oh my god, yeah.
Anti-women is hot right now. Beautiful.
So he titled it My Twisted World, which, I don't know about you, but just sounds like an emo poem.
Can I just say, right, I'm pretty sure I read that fanfic when I was 12.
Yeah, honestly, if that doesn't sound like the edgiest fucking emo thing you'd write when you were 14, I don't know what does.
Honestly.
Oh, don't worry. Sorry, My Twisted World, the story of Elliot Rodger. Wow.
Woo!
I thought about reading it for this episode. And then I was like, here's 1,000 other things I could do instead.
Honestly.
And it would probably be... You know what I did instead? I read gay fanfiction. Because I was like, that's probably so much more well-written. And
probably so much more fulfilling.
Yes, than whatever the fuck his 137-page manifesto about why his life sucks that he's a virgin and women don't notice him. So I was like... I know, like, you know, you gotta be dedicated to a point to your podcast, but sorry, babe.
Do you know what?
Sorry.
Do you know what? I'm happy you didn't.
I thought about it and I was like, nah.
It's okay.
Nah, I'm good.
It's okay.
But within it, if you want the gist...
Give me the lowdown. The short version.
He described women as a plague.
The gender that brings life to an entire species is the plague. What hole did you hop out of, my guy?
And he thought that women getting the right to choose their own partners could hinder the advancement of humanity.
No, actually, I think that enables the advancement because we know when somebody's a fucking idiot, hence why you're an involuntary celibate.
But he asserts that civilized men of intelligence, God, should choose who they can mate with.
Mates!
Yes, mate. He also stated that women should not be given any rights, adding that their wickedness needs to be contained.
Honestly, that pussy be wicked sometimes.
Yeah, you're right. I do. As Miley Cyrus said, I cannot be tamed. Alright? But maybe, according to Elliot, we should be.
I'm not about that. Anything that Elliot thinks is a good idea, I'm going to do the opposite.
But they need to be contained in order to risk of humanity falling into degeneracy.
Degeneracy?
Oh.
Oh, there's that.
God, he thinks he's the hot shit,
There's that private school upbringing.
God damn. You know some big words, that's it. It's over for us. He believed that women's refusal to accept him was a declaration of war. God, he's up his own ass so far. It's shocking.
Oh, holy fuck.
And hoped that his attacks would reshape humanity. Just so you know, they didn't.
It's a comedy act right now. This is funny.
He believed that he would be purifying the world. I feel like Hitler would love this manifesto.
I was thinking Hitler, the Taliban.
Yeah, just generally.
Elliot.
They'd love it.
It's the same level.
And he believed it was necessary to get rid of love and sex from human existence completely. He imagined himself as a leader with fanatically loyal troops, aka other incels, who imprison women in concentration camps. I feel like I've read this book before, and it's
called Auschwitz.
And the few that were left alive would be kept in secret labs. This sounds like a really bad sci-fi novel. And be artificially inseminated with sperm samples to become pregnant, ensuring that men would be unaware of women's existence entirely. Maybe I should have read it, because it sounds like a roller coaster.
That sounds like a party.
Wow. That's a lot to unpack.
I want to take a moment to pause here, right?
To be like, what the fuck?
Right, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like an alpha beta breeding kink moment.
It does sound like an alpha thing, doesn't it? Yeah, he definitely, yeah.
He wants to imprison the unwilling mate.
Yeah.
And inseminate them to populate the pack, but he doesn't want her visible to the rest of the pack in case she usurps him.
Yeah, it just sounds very dystopian, doesn't it?
It sounds like something my 14-year-old self might have written.
Yeah, just trying to be edgy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember once I wrote a fan fiction and my mum turned around and she read it and she was like,
"Nope,
never publish that."
Understandable.
And I was like, "What do you mean?"
We've all
And she's
been
like, you haven't used a single original thought in this entire fanfic."
He clearly his hero was like fucking Hitler or some shit. Would Hitler sue him for like copyright? Probably.
Look, if somebody can sue Ed Sheeran for copyright, you can sue Hitler for copyright.
Well, no, Hitler's suing him for copyright. That's what I
beyond the grave.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So he also believed that in terms
Jesus
of his
Christ.
day of retribution,
There's
would
so
be...
many beliefs going on right now.
I know, but that's Incel's fear. So, wow.
Honestly.
Yeah, but he had thoughts that his day of retribution would be split into 3 phases, let's say.
Oh my god.
First phase.
What's phase?
It sounds like a fucking mission. First mission.
Phase 1.
Killing his 2 roommates. Despite the fact they had done nothing wrong to him at all and had left him alone. They just were there. And luring victims into his apartment, wanting to slowly torture them before killing them. Phase 2.
Okay.
Which he named the War on Women. He aimed to target the very girls who represent everything I hate in the female gender. Specifically focusing on the Alpha Phi, I hope I said that right, sorority house, intending to kill as many occupants as possible before setting the building on fire.
Oh my god.
In phase 3, the final phase, which once again sounds like a trilogy movie.
Last wave.
Ride or die, bitch.
Honestly.
Roger planned to drive to his father's house while he was away, kill his stepmom and his half-brother. He would then steal their Mercedes-Benz. Don't know why you had to clarify the car. Thank you for that clarifying of the vehicle. And drive
I will steal the fuck you, Honda.
Yep. And drive it to Isla Vista, shooting and hitting as many people as possible with the car. So around this time, his parents were like, he's being a bit weird. Bit more than usual.
I was gonna say,
so they were like...
weird is subjective with this guy.
Yeah, so they were like, let's just do a welfare check thing on him. So the police went round for this welfare check. And he was like, yeah, no, I'm fine. And they just were like, okay. And left. But if they'd have gone in his room, they'd have seen the stockpile of weapons, the manifesto, everything else.
Do you know what? I'm just going to say, right, after this guy gets fucked up, I don't know how he gets fucked up, but I know he does.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right? After this guy gets fucked up, those 2 officers must look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, they could have probably prevented
all
a lot
of
of carnage. Yeah.
All of this.
But yeah,
because all they would have had to do was go into his room, say one glance at half the shit in his room and slap some cuffs on him and he would be done.
You'd hope so. But who knows, maybe he'd have still gotten away with it. Because he had money, I don't know.
Who knows?
So, the crime.
Oh, here we go.
Yep.
Here we go.
So, now you know what he planned for his day of retribution. This is what actually happened.
I'm ready.
Because it didn't actually go the way he planned it.
Okay.
So, carrying a 6-inch knife along with a 9-inch hunting knife, Roger did ambush Wang, one of his flatmates, upon his return to the apartment.
David.
Wang then tried to defend himself, but was stabbed 15 times, overall suffering 23 slashes. Those include defensive wounds.
Fucking hell.
Roger then moved his body to the corner of the bedroom and flew it on the floor face down, and tried to partially hide it with a blanket, towel, clothes, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Soon after, Hong...
rudimentary to say the least, considering this is a full-blown plan at this point.
Yep. Hong, the second flatmate, the other one, also returned soon afterwards. Still wearing his backpack from class.
Okay.
Entered the apartment and immediately was attacked by Elliot. Despite his attempts to also defend himself,
Let me guess.
He was overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yes, and received 25 stab wounds and 12 slashes.
Damn.
Roger then also dragged his body to the same bedroom, also threw it face down on top of Wang's body, and then also did the same kind of concealment thing.
Got it.
With him.
Got it.
However, another person entered the apartment, which was 19-year-old George Chen, who was a friend of the two flatmates.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it really turned up at the worst possible timing.
That is... I wish I'd never been here.
Yeah. Really wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he's not going to live much longer to regret that, though.
He's not. He's not.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
So upon entering, obviously he entered surprising Elliot, obviously.
Shocking. Literally.
Entering, he was ambushed by Elliot, unleashing a total...
oh, Jesus.
When you hear these numbers, you're like, realistically, you're like, yeah. But then when you actually have to think about it, and the action of doing it again and again and again, first of all, that's a lot of anger.
It's a long time
hate.
as well.
Yeah, and that's a lot of fucking energy. He suffered 94 stab wounds and 11 slashes.
That's mania. That's a mania.
Yes.
That's not...
Elliot then left his body in the bathroom in a pool of blood. He did make an attempt to clean the apartment and hide evidence of, the earlier stabbings. He used things like paper towels and bathroom towels. Obviously, they were very quickly soaked in blood. Despite his efforts, he didn't really try that hard. Because, he had other plans. There were other phases. This was just phase 1.
He's only got a couple minutes break here.
Yeah. So, despite his cleaning, blood was still splattered on the hallways and the walls. He then filmed his final YouTube video.
After homiciding these
yes.
people. Okay. Alright.
Labelled himself as one of his most famous nicknames, the Supreme Gentleman. And then sent his manifesto to 34 people, including family members and his counsellor.
That's a big fuck you, isn't it?
Yeah. So, he then made phase 2. The sorority house.
The sorority house. Go in and shoot as many people as possible before burning it to the ground.
Is what he wanted to do. But not what happened.
Oh.
Because unfortunately, sometimes life don't go your way. And sometimes you have to deal with it. And I guess he chose improvise. So he arrived at the sorority house at 9:15 p.m.
Okay.
Knocked. No one answered. Tried to get some attention to be let in. No one answered. He could not get in to this sorority house, no matter how hard he tried. So he was stressy.
Oh, this plan's going so well, my guy.
Boy's going through a temper tantrum. His plan in phase 2 is fucking already not going to plan. So around 9:27 p.m, noticed that there was 3 women walking near the sorority house.
Please don't tell me he was like, that'll do.
At this point, any women need to die.
Yeah. Can't say I didn't see that one coming.
Yes. 19-year-old Veronica Weiss, 22-year-old Catherine Cooper, and 20-year-old woman were all members of the Delta 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 sorority. As they were walking back to their sorority house, he slowly approached them in his car, opened his window, and fired multiple shots. Cooper and Weiss did succumb to injuries. The unknown woman, I believe, survived.
Hence why her identity is redacted.
Yes. So, then was like, right, since I can't get in the sorority house, we're gonna go in a drive-by shooting. Fuck it. So, he started shooting at several locations from his car.
Okay.
20-year-old Christopher Michaels Martinez. At this point, he was shooting everyone.
I was going to say, like...
It's not just women
We've bailed from just women.
those were his primary targets, but now it's just like, I just need to kill everyone because my plan has fallen through.
Everybody loves somebody, and so I'm going to kill all of you.
Yes. So 20-year-old Christopher Michaels Martinez was at a deli entrance, turned around to look when he heard, Roger's car coming. That's when he was shot in the chest, and had injuries to his liver and the right ventricle of his heart. Yep. Roger then was also at this point recklessly driving on the paths, literally trying to drive into people.
Fucking hell.
He then struck a man with his vehicle, knocked him into the air. He then arrived near a place called Pizza My Heart. I'm going to assume it's a pizza place.
Well done, Beth.
Thank you.
Well done.
And opened fire on a couple who were exiting the restaurant. How dare you?
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I've been holding that on for the last 30 minutes.
The boyfriend was shot in the left arm, while the girlfriend sustained a gunshot to her upper right forearm. I want to say they survived.
Okay.
Driving on the wrong side of the road, Roger then shot a female cyclist in the right thigh. He then spotted a sheriff's deputy and was now shooting at the police.
Jesus Christ.
He struck 2 more men with his car and then drove into a place called Camino del Sur, where he shot a man in the right forearm and in the butt. He then proceeded
Not my buttocks!
Yes. He then proceeded to a place called Sabado Tard, where he hit another male cyclist and 2 male skateboarders.
Okay.
He also encountered 2 men in a driveway, shot them multiple times because they just happened to be out. He then saw, at this point the police are obviously on his ass, understandably. He then saw 4 sheriff deputies engage in a shootout with 3 of them, during which he actually got shot in his car to the hip.
Okay.
So at 9:37, he decided, this is all I'm going to do.
Okay. Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Trigger warning. At 9:37 p.m., while the car was still driving, he shot himself fatally in his head, causing his car to crash into another bike rider who I believe survived. However, I'd like to point out when authorities got to that scene, they thought the bike person
was at fault,
was the culprit, until they actually looked around and were like, maybe not.
My bad.
So inside his car, they found a Glock 34 long slide handgun with 7 loaded 10-round magazines, unused. 2 SIG SOA P...
Sig Sauer.
Yes. P226 handguns with 34 loaded 10-round magazines, over 500 additional rounds of live ammunition, and the 2 knives he used to kill his 2 roommates and their friend. The entire shooting spree happened within 8 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
During which he discharged around roughly 55 9mm rounds. So in terms of the aftermath,
considering he had over 500 bullets in his car.
Yeah, I feel like he'd kind of clearly his plan had fallen through and he was like,
fuck it.
But not enough to actually use actually what he'd brought, mostly. So
I don't know. I don't claim to understand what was going on in his head.
Yeah. So after getting his manifesto,
okay,
when his family received it, the counsellor obviously was very concerned about this because, he'd put his plan in the manifesto.
Oh.
The counsellor phoned the stepmom because obviously phase 3 was stepmom and brother.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. So the counsellor actually phoned the stepmom to be like, have you got this manifesto? If so, maybe leave with your son. And obviously, so then they phoned the dad to be like,
slight problem here.
yes, we're in danger from your son. They all rushed to where he was living, where Elliot was living to try and stop him.
So, I'm sorry. You get a document saying that he's trying to kill you.
Yeah.
And you go to his apartment?
I guess, they did care about him. But we're also trying to stop him from hurting anyone, despite knowing that he actually wanted to hurt them. Obviously, the dad knew he was pretty much safe.
Yeah.
Because, he hadn't been threatened at all. But, yeah, they all rushed to try and stop him, obviously.
Too late.
Yeah. So when the police got to the flat, obviously discovered the bodies. They also, in searching the flat, they also found a folding knife, a zombie killer knife, which has a 10-inch blade, another 18-inch blade machete, a sledgehammer, casual stuff to have in your room, and multiple other knives. They also found a hand-drawn picture of people getting stabbed.
Beautiful.
Due to the attacks, his family was obviously very criticised and harassed.
Yeah.
They tend to be in these kind of things.
Yeah.
And
the bad guys and all that.
Yeah, and they were forced to move every 2 days because of the harassment.
Jesus Christ.
But they did have, despite what he did, they still had a funeral for him, had him cremated, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So that was in terms of his family. In terms of the community, aka the other incels.
Oh.
So Elliot Rodger has very much, to the incels, become a legend.
Yeah.
In all the wrong reasons. His murder spree as well brought the incel community to mainstream media. So then media began to be like, what the fuck is an incel? And now we know what that is. And he actually got ridiculously praised.
By the incels?
Not even just by incels, just by also men.
Fuck, that's scary.
Yeah, and young men as well around the world. Specifically, obviously, those who did identify as incels as well.
Yeah.
The incels refer to him as things like a saint, the supreme gentleman, hero. They actually celebrate the day of his retribution that he did it every year and have called it Saint Elliot Day.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. His mass killings would go on to inspire copycats of people that had the same beliefs as him or looked up to him, wanting to do their own day of retribution.
That's a bit alarming.
And, for example, this is a future case we have as well, is a man called Alec Minassian. Really hope I smashed that.
Jesus Christ.
Who, on April the 23rd, 2018, which wasn't very long ago at all.
But that was 6 years ago.
Let me pretend I'm still young. At age 25, he killed 10 people and injured 15 in Toronto, Canada. By driving a van through the city. That was a copycat.
Even the fucking Canadians?
Yeah.
Jesus.
But yeah, if you search up Elliot Rodgers, you can also buy t-shirts with him on and stuff. So that's the thing.
That's
that
Elliot merch.
Yeah. So here are some of the people that he killed. These are not all of them, by the way. Obviously, there are 3 roommates at the bottom and 2 of the ladies and a guy, but there were more.
Yeah.
And that is Elliot.
That is, he's not even unattractive.
No, I feel like if he'd have just spoke to people and, actually tried...
Yeah.
But you could say that about most guys.
Honestly,
or most incels. So it's like...
I'd much rather... It's not about the women, it's about them.
It is.
Right? It's got nothing to do with women. It's just women are the fucking recipients of their anger and frustration. Like, it's got nothing to do with women.
It's not.
Or sex.
Mm-hmm.
Got nothing to do with that. It's got to do with their own fucking inadequacies.
And the fact that they're just not gonna try. So, and therefore other people have to suffer.
That fucking baffled me.
The incels is a very, very large community. Even now.
Yeah.
Especially on places like 4chan, Reddit, Discord.
Jesus Christ.
And like I said, yeah, you can still find Elliot's videos online.
He's been memorialized.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Yes. And like I said, it's the incels still celebrate him every year. And the people that he killed.
Fucking scary, bro.
Yeah.
It's fucking scary.
So, that was Elliot and the incels. Yeah.
I think it's quite telling that I started this case laughing.
Yeah.
And now I'm really not. I'm really not. Because
the world's a
the
scary place.
the beginning of it was quite humorous. Like,
it was just more
like the absurdity,
wild.
Absurdity of it. Like, actually, you literally just could do nothing but laugh because it was just absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
But then,
it's just I don't see any, like, in a lot of these cases we see, there's horrific abuse.
There's a triggering moment.
Or there's lots of really, really bad shit that happens, and you're like, that's probably the moment. But with this, I don't really see a particular moment, really. It's just lots of little things mixed with behavioural and maybe development issues, and then it all just didn't go well.
I mean...
And you can't even fully put the blame on the parents, because they were trying.
Yeah, like, the parents weren't...
And they did care.
To blame, like... Nothing that happened to him explains that behaviour.
It just
I
seems
feel
like
it's just him.
Yeah, it's just a very extreme
sometimes you just
finale to
sometimes you just get like a really fucking dangerous concoction in a person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's some wild shit going on.
Yeah, there was a very much of a massive lack of empathy there.
It's also interesting that, like, obviously both of his parents divorced, so there's kind of like, especially couple the divorce with his, like, introverted racial hatred, and obviously that the direction that would naturally take with his mother, because his mother is the one with the racial disparity.
But as far as I'm aware, he didn't, like, hate his mother.
No, but she is a source of his insecurities.
True.
And it is a woman who is a source of his insecurities.
True.
And people of Asian descent, not to generalise, but people of Asian descent tend to be smaller and thinner.
They do, but that doesn't mean that they can't, like, be successful with women or anything like that.
Absolutely not.
But he just clearly...
But it does focus, like, a lot of his issues do focus a lot around his mixed race heritage. Because he said that, like, he felt inadequate because he was, like, shorter, he was skinnier, he wasn't like the other boys because he was
also get a massive
mixed race
narcissism vibe as well.
That is a big one as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like on their own, like, it's not too troubling. Like, behavioural difficulties, not too bad. Narcissism on its own, not great, but doesn't tend to cause too many issues.
Yeah.
Internalized racial hatred.
As long as it stays internalized, still not great.
Questionable.
But, yeah.
But not too bad. Right. If you put all those three together, that's it's a powerful concoction to be making. Which clearly, despite the fucking absurdity of how all this began, had some pretty profoundly catastrophic effects.
And
it's just so randomized as well.
Yeah, and
the
fact that
there's no, like,
there's no condemning of him.
If I were gonna have like specific targets, they would be my first targets.
I feel like his flatmates were just A, convenient,
trials,
B, Asian.
True. Which is a big issue with him.
Yes. And C, I feel like it was more of a practice.
Yeah, in the comfort of his own home, 2 easy targets who would let their guard down around him. Mm-hmm. Let's see how this goes, let's trial and error.
They didn't get on, per se, but it wasn't, like, they left each other alone. I'm going to stab you
15 times to death.
The flatmates were, like, uncomfortable around him, but left him alone.
Yeah. What I don't understand, right? The first guy was stabbed 15 times.
Yeah.
The second guy was stabbed 25 times.
Yeah, it just escalates.
The third guy was stabbed 90-something times.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened? Like, the murders that he planned, significantly less stabbing was involved.
Yeah. Obviously, the third guy was...
Yeah, the third guy was unplanned.
A surprise.
But 90-something stab wounds to a guy that you didn't anticipate. What the hell?
I don't even know if he knew.
No.
At all. Yes, he was also Asian, but...
So he literally, like...
Yeah, but the guy wouldn't have even seen the bodies. Yeah, he might have seen the blood and stuff when he came in. But he wouldn't have seen the bodies, because they were in the bedroom.
Yeah, they were covered.
Yeah.
Mostly.
But yeah, I don't know. The thing is, when you're stabbing someone that many times, there has to be something behind it.
Something's going on there.
Yeah.
Something's going on there.
Some kind of reason.
I mean, you did mention that the guy was, like, significantly younger than him. Like, I think you said he was 19 or something.
Yeah, not by much. I think Elliot was only, like, 22 at max, though, when the crimes happened. So the ages are not that high at all.
But that would make his little brother, like, what? 12?
Yeah, but apparently he was doing well in his life. You know, he didn't have those, he had friends and that kind of thing. And I think that's where a lot of the anger and resentment
How much can you achieve at the age of 12?
Yeah, but I think it was also just because he didn't struggle with any of that.
That's true.
That, you know...
I mean, by that age, he clearly had so many fucking issues.
Oh, yeah, 1,000%.
Like,
and I think he just knew that he was, like, more normal and stuff than Elliot was.
I think normal is such an overrated word, but I understand what you're saying. Like, socially, he was more the norm.
Yeah, he was, and he wasn't going through the struggles he was going through at that time.
And don't get me wrong, like, he did struggle.
Yeah.
Like, 100%, like...
But he also had the means for help. He had the money for help.
He had opportunities.
Counselling.
Yeah.
Or supposed to be getting counselling. Fobbed that off. He was supposed to be on medication.
Fobbed that off.
Fobbed all of that off.
Got a really good education.
Yeah.
Fobbed that off.
Yeah, literally had his parents paying for everything. But nothing
He had a free pass in life.
Yeah, nothing was ever enough.
And yet he hyperfixated on the fact that women didn't magically know that he was God's gift to man. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Okay, alright. And on that bombshell, I think we shall come to a close.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So next episode we have, since I thought we haven't done one in a while, I actually thought we'd done this case while I was researching, but then I was like, clearly, if I'm writing these notes as I am, clearly we haven't. Well done. So, thank you. Yeah, well so next episode we actually have a serial killer case.
Ooh.
As that'll be a bit of a longer one than this one. This is probably actually quite short for us nowadays.
She says an hour and 10 minutes.
Hey, nowadays that's pretty short for us.
Is it?
Little tangents, Jesus. Yes.
Okay. I remember when we used to do like 30-40 minutes episodes. Remember them?
But I think we were still getting used to that kind of thing. But yeah, next episode is John Wayne Gacy, aka known as the Killer Clown.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need some food and some tea before that one.
But I want to clarify, this is like something we discussed earlier. So with the John Wayne Gacy episode that we'll be doing as episode, what did I say, 35 will be the next one?
34, because it was 33 because I made the bus joke.
Okay, oh yes you did. 34 for the next one. There is a lot on John Wayne Gacy.
Okay.
So much so that I had to trim shit down just so we would not be here all day.
Got it all day.
Like, a part of me was like, maybe I should do 2 episodes.
Nah.
But yeah, exactly. But I was like, no, what we'll do is we'll get the facts. You know, I'm still going to put some backgrounds and shit in there.
Not all the details,
I haven't been able to go into a lot of victims.
I mean, you did that about the first... What was the first suit of the guy that painted the satanic symbols, got caught by the community?
Richard Ramirez.
Yeah, we did that with him. Like, there was lots of victims with him. We didn't necessarily go into all of them. But...
Yeah, and I feel... Yeah, like, the thing is, I feel, obviously, the victims are obviously a lot more important than the perpetrator. But at the same time, we like to discuss how they got there to that point.
Yeah.
So, obviously, it's not like...
Which is interesting, because it's never actually something we discussed. We kind of just naturally fell into why people did things.
So it's like, not going into the victims, it's not that we're not caring about the victims.
No.
But, we don't want to... First of all, it's really hard to find information, like detailed information on victims.
Yes.
Generally.
Want to keep it private, don't they?
And also... I don't want to go super into detail how they were killed all the time, because, it's not very tasteful. And, some might say that, true crime podcasts and that kind of thing just aren't tasteful generally. Understand if that's your opinion,
But not to mention, that is quite possibly, the worst moment in quite a few people's lives, this person being killed.
Exactly. But at the same time, I feel like, first of all, it's free information.
True.
And B, I think it's important to have these conversations and to, make other people aware. But at the same time, with, John Wayne Gacy, that's a common name.
Yeah.
People know who that is, roughly.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Even I know who John Wayne Gacy is. I mean, I didn't know he was the killer clown, but...
Yeah.
John Wayne Gacy, I knew the name, I recognised
But I said, he has a lot on him. Even after he's caught, there's documentaries. He has, so similar to Jeffrey Dahmer, you can find, for example, if you go on Netflix, Jeffrey Dahmer has the Jeffrey Dahmer tapes, where he's talking to the police after he's been caught about his crimes, and...
There's the ones about his actual trial.
Yeah, but John Gacy also has that kind of thing.
Okay.
So,
there's a lot of information.
Yeah, so I trimmed it down a lot, and then realised that what would be a probably good idea is at some point to do a few mini episodes.
I'm down for that.
Where it's things we didn't really talk about, other things we might want to talk about to do with certain killers, things that had to be cut out.
Okay.
Updates on cases that we've done before. For example, Boy in the Box, he has a
name.
I think he's got a name. There's one of the first few episodes we did with the mysterious guy
on
in
the beach.
Suit. Yeah, that washed up on...
He's got a name as well,
yeah, he's been named.
I want to touch base on, she's just gotten released from prison, the one who killed her mum.
Oh, Gypsy Rose. We haven't actually done that case yet.
We've not done Gypsy Rose!
We have not done Gypsy Rose. Bro. I was thinking about that one, but I was
we need to hit that up, because she's all over social media at the moment.
Oh, God, yeah, I'm very on the ropes with that one. But yeah, we haven't actually done that case yet, but I think that'll be a long one as well.
Yeah.
I do think that might also be one that has to be trimmed down a bit as well.
I mean, we can do it. We can do an excerpts, can't we?
But yeah, like I said, so I was thinking at some point we might have to do some little mini episode kind of things with just updated information and maybe cut bits from, that we haven't talked about from other cases.
I'm down for anything, you know that.
So yeah, next episode we've got a biggie.
Lads.
I mean, for us, it literally is going to be later this evening when we've got food, and
I've beaten Beth on a few more courses on the online golf we're playing.
Sometimes you got to do pure things when you dive into things that are pretty dark.
Play golf and put a dinosaur hat on your golf ball.
Maybe not for me, but maybe for you.
That's because you suck.
But yeah, so we hope you enjoyed the episode.
That was an episode.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. If you want to go read the manifesto, it is available for anyone to view.
Also,
online.
I wouldn't read it because I don't want to give it the credence.
True, know? And I won't want to waste my time.
That's a lot of time. That's 137 pages. That's the size of a novel.
So sorry. But also,
You'd read it. It.
I'd read it at some point, maybe. Maybe for a laugh. But at the same time, I think, you know, also if you're one of those people that goes into those communities, I'd just say, first of all, be careful, because you don't want to be sucked up by that kind of...
Honestly, it's so easy to start reading the shit that you believe, and start, like, believing shit you read.
And, you know, you can say that about a lot of other things, but I think it's, especially when you see, when you see where these kind of things can lead.
Yeah.
If left unchecked.
Yeah, it's a bit problematic.
Yeah. So, yeah, spread love. Please stop hating women as much.
Peace, not war.
Calm down with the incels, and, yeah.
Don't go shooting anybody, please.
Also, that's a big one. Don't do that. Or knifing anyone.
Stabbing.
Yeah.
Stabbing. Knifing is not an adjective.
Yes. So, I've been Beth.
I am still Becky.
Good to know.
I know.
And yeah, we've been BB True Crime. Please join us in the next episode.
We'll see you later.
If Killer Clown's not for you, maybe skip that one. Alright.
Killer Clowns are for everybody.
Except people that may be scared of clowns.
I'm scared of clowns. That's the scary thing.
Sucks for you. You're going to have to be there.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. We'll see you next time.
See ya. Peace out.